Here with head coach Rich Kromm for another edition of our weekly coach interview. Coach, after 2 games against the Bakersfield Condors here in the Western Conference Semifinals, you've got a 2-0 deficit to try and make up. The good news, though, you're back here at home for now 3 straight games and a chance to make up some ground in this series.
Yeah, we have some focus to the game right now, and I think we have to, come home and take advantage of the home opportunity here. 3 in a row at home. You got to be able to win on the road for sure. We let that slip away here in the last 2 games, but some areas that we've worked on this week, and guys are focused and ready to go.
Now, you mentioned some of those things to work on. Are there any, without going too specific into the game plan, obviously, are there any focal areas of the game that you're trying to focus on, such as, entry into the zone, things like that?
I think our power play has been an area that we want to make sure we're better at. I think we did create a couple of chances last game on that power play, but not enough sustained pressure in the offensive zone to build momentum. And I think our power play is an issue. Our PK obviously has to be better. They scored 2. The special teams was a difference in the game.
Now, you mentioned the power plays there, and there weren't too many chances for you guys. You've only had 4 now in the series, and not a lot of penalties until the end of Game 2. A bit of a scrap that saw 46 penalties get handed out at the end of Game 2. With an incident sort of like that, do you think that can sort of lead to momentum for your guys going into this next game?
Well, I think that our guys, number one, are all still very, very much invested in this team and the group that we have here. So whether that builds momentum or not, I think it's just a matter of us being focused and ready to play and compete and get better in certain areas.
Yeah, usually you'll see in playoff series a physicality kind of pick up as the series goes along. Is that something you could see being a deciding factor in these next couple of games?
Well, I think we can be more physical in certain areas. I think our forecheck, we can be more physical on our initial forecheck. I think with getting better pressure onto their defense, I think that's important for us. I think it can really start to build a little bit of momentum. And it's got to be, you're in a 7-game series here. You can start, wearing down the opponent, and that's a big part of it. If you don't get it done in 2 games, it's the first of 4. So it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and we have to just stick with it and keep getting stronger in those areas.
Now, being here on home ice, there's some advantages that come along with it in terms of being able to make some adjustments playing in front of the home crowd, but you also get the last change. We sort of saw in the 2 games on the road in Bakersfield, they like to match up that line that was consisted of Gary Steffes at center against your top line with Joey Martin and Andrew Clark. Will you try to make an adjustment yourself now that you can kind of get to set the tone?
Yeah, we can obviously play whoever we want against whoever lines they want. The bottom line at the end of the day is that wherever you are, whoever you're playing against, you have to win that matchup. And for us, if the Clark, Martin, and Hayes line scored a couple goals, then they'd obviously have to rethink their strategy against them. So no matter who you're playing against, you have to put it upon yourself as a line, as a group, to go out there and outcompete the people you're playing against. And certainly we can take a look at having different matchups, but at the end of the day, each line has to win their own individual matchup.
And you need some more goals to go in, which has been sort of a tough task for everybody in the ECHL against goaltender Laurent Brossoit. Had 2 against him in Game 1, got shut out in Game 2. Any adjustments you make in terms of, shooting chances, scoring chances, or is it still that simple task, at least in theory, of getting bodies to the front of the net, creating traffic?
We have to. I mean, you watch the games in the NHL. We just we're talking about the Chicago-Minnesota series here, and when the puck gets to the point, Chicago's got a guy on top of the goaltender all the time. Same with Minnesota. It's the way the game has been played now, where you try to get as much traffic, as much volume to the net as you possibly can. I don't think we had enough shots in games 1 and 2, and I think we have to get more to the net on him. And it's not that initial shot; it's always the recovery on the second shot, the rebound opportunities that are going to be the primary scoring chances.
Last thing for you, Coach, have to always get an update on the injury situation. Had a few more guys get banged up in Game 2 of this series, but you were able to get a guy like Lee Baldwin, very important, back on the ice. Anybody that you're expecting to be out of the lineup here for Games 3 through 5?
Well, we've got a couple question marks, and Lee was able to come back in that third period. He's going to be a guy that certainly is an important part of our defense. He didn't practice today. He's just trying to get himself healthy, and we're going to be missing a couple guys, but obviously everybody else is getting opportunities to step in and help us out.
All right, that's the word from head coach Rich Kromm. Coach, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks, Caleb.